How do I know what area of ministry I'm called to? How do I know what area of ministry I'm called to? Hey, it's Kyle Sexton, Fulfilled Pastors Group. Glad to be with you as we are answering this question. How do I know what area of ministry I am called to? So I have 6 questions and a suggestion for you to help you figure out what area of ministry you are called to. Now, you may have been serving in the church for a long time, or you may be a brand new believer, but everybody at some point asks the question, am I doing really what I am supposed to be doing? And so here are some thoughts to help you, some questions to help you along the way. Okay, first of all, right here, let's start at the top. What are your spiritual gifts? What are your spiritual gifts? Until you know your spiritual gifts, it is hard to know what area God is wanting to use you in. Now, here's the beautiful thing about a spiritual gift. A spiritual gift helps you understand in what capacity to serve. And because of that, it helps you clarify in what area you're going to serve. So there are ways for you to use multiple gifts in multiple places, but the beginning point of all of that is to know what gifts God has placed in your life. Next question is this: what skills do you have? Put it simply, my friend, if you cannot carry a tune in a bucket and cannot play a musical instrument, you probably are not called to be on the worship team standing on the stage. If all the notes that you play are always wrong, that is a very strong indication that you are not called to worship ministry. But that doesn't mean that there's not another place inside of that ministry. But the skill sets help you to figure that out. What skill do you have? Are you really tech savvy? Then maybe, just maybe, you're called to be in the sound or tech booth instead, being a part of the worship ministry, but not on the stage. All right, and so that's part of that clarification process. What skill do you have? Next question. What have you had positive results with in the past? In what area have you served, and when you looked around you went, wow, that went really well? Have you led something, helped with something, built something, done something, taught something, shown compassion, given away food? What area have you done something in the past and you're like, you know what, I think that went really well, maybe I should try that again? A great question for you to ask as you are narrowing down in what way, in what area you're going to serve inside of the kingdom. Here we go. Next one. What experience do you have? What experiences do you have? Now, I don't mean solely inside of a church or parachurch organization. I mean, what experiences do you have in life? Do you know how to fly fish? Can you fly an airplane? God takes all of these things and he works them together for the building of his kingdom. It's quite beautiful and amazing when we sit back and watch God do what God does, and taking every aspect of what we do and how we do and being able to pull them together for the building of his kingdom. So what experiences do you have? And how might those experiences be used for the building of God's kingdom? All right, keep rolling on these questions. What did my leaders say? What leader around you have you gone and talked to and asked and said, hey, I'm thinking about where I need to serve. What ministry am I to be a part of? What does my calling look like? What do they say to you? Because the conversation should start with something like this. I'm looking for where I serve. And they could say something like, well, I have seen this inside of you. I have seen you do this well. I have seen this in your character. I have seen this in your ability. I've seen this gifting. Now, the key to that is being in those relationships so that your leaders can help you figure out where God is taking you. All right, next one. Keep rolling. Here we go. Last one. What am I passionate about? And when I say passionate, I mean what makes you cry, what makes you angry, what makes you resentful, what makes you feel all kinds of things inside. Well, that's a good indication that's an area that God wants to use you in for the future. I have taught many people over the years serving in various church and parachurch organizations, and I've always said, what is it that frustrates you about church or your organization? If it frustrates you, it may be an indication that is where God is calling you. There is something about the things that we become discontent about that opens up the doors for us to then serve in those areas for the future. So ask yourself those questions. Here's a real quick rundown of them again. What are your spiritual gifts? What are your skills? What has had a positive result for you? What experiences do you have? What do your leaders say? And what am I passionate about? What are you passionate about? Okay, so there's your questions to ask in order to find out and to know what ministry you're called to. Now, let me throw one more thing in this. Do something. Try something. Goes back to that old saying, it's easier to steer a moving car. All right, try something and see what the results are. Submit it to your leadership and figure out what the next step is for the future. Hey, I want to continue our conversation, so check us out on the school app, SKOOL. There's a link to it on the YouTube page in the banner. Click over, sign up for a free account. We can continue the conversation. You can ask questions. We can have private messages back and forth. There's some free training available for it, and we're creating a community where we can all support one another and help to fulfill and be fulfilled in the mission that God has called us to. So, hey, if you're a pastor, a youth pastor, serving in a church in any capacity, or if you are part of a parachurch ministry, we want you in community with us. We are definitely better together. So let's go hang out together. School, the Fulfilled Pastor Group. I'll see you there.